On my birthday, I rushed to finish my work, spent the evening decorating the apartment, and prepared a full spread of dishes. Then, while I watched the food go cold, I received a text from Vanessa. Business trip. Don't wait up. Go to sleep. Moments later, scrolling through Instagram, I saw a new post from Julian, the one that got away. The photo showed Vanessa with her sleeves rolled up, wearing an apron, busy in a kitchen. The caption read, "Timeless." Whatever appetite, I had vanished instantly. I liked the post, reheated the food, and ate alone. My phone buzzed incessantly during the meal, but I ignored it. By the time I finished and picked it up again, I saw dozens of missed calls from Vanessa. Finally, she sent a voice note. "Caleb, I'll explain when I get back. Don't overthink it. We have plenty of birthdays left to celebrate together." I didn't reply. I just wondered, do we really have a future left? Vanessa didn't come home until 3 days later. When she walked through the door, I was lying on the couch binge-watching a show. She looked surprised. "Didn't you see my messages?" I didn't even lift my head. I saw them. I was busy, then I forgot. She looked incredulous. It wasn't surprising. Usually if I got a text saying she was coming home, I'd be downstairs waiting for her 30 minutes early, beaming like an idiot. She was silent for a moment, then said, "I haven't eaten all day. Make me something, anything." She was a picky eater. She hated the food on the Amtrak, and usually, when she returned from business trips, I'd cook a few specific dishes to satisfy her refined palate. The episode ended. I looked up at her and pointed to the takeout flyers on the coffee table. Saw those in the mail. "New place, looks like they have coupons." Vanessa's expression soured. "I'm starving right now. Even if you're mad, can't you just make dinner first?" I looked at her, genuinely confused. "Can't you just order Uber Eats?" And I'm not mad. She didn't believe me, of course. She continued, defensive. "Julian is all alone in Milwaukee. He has nobody. I just went over there as a friend to take care of him." "Okay." She rubbed her temples, looking exhausted. "Cut out. I really don't have the energy to coddle you right now." I sighed. "If you're tired, go rest. I'm really not asking you to coddle me." She choked on her words, her breathing speeding up. I knew she was angry. After a beat, she pulled a gift box out of her suitcase and tossed it at me. She scoffed. "Birthday present. Happy now." I casually placed it on the coffee table. "Thanks." She stood there, frozen, before her face darkened. And I paused, then remembered our old agreement. Regardless of whose birthday it was, we exchanged gifts. "Oh, right. My bad. Got too sucked into the show. Forgot." I gave an apologetic shrug. "I'll make it up to you later, or I can just Venmo you." She stared at me intensely. The awkwardness finally got to me, so I quickly transferred the money, checked my watch, and went to the bedroom to grab my jacket. When I returned to the living room, she looked stunned. "You're going out? It's late. Where are you going?" I looked at her strangely. "Didn't you tell me I needed to learn to kill time by myself at night? I'm meeting the guys for drinks." Ignoring her speechlessness, I opened the door. "Where are you going?" She rushed over and grabbed my arm. "Meeting Big Mike and the crew." I ignored her expression and left the apartment. Vanessa hated my friends. She thought they were too loud and that meeting at dive bars was beneath us. She was always telling me to cut them off. Naturally, I wasn't going to ditch my friends for her, but to avoid arguments, I used to skip gatherings or come home early. I never really got to enjoy myself. Now, I finally didn't have to care what she thought. When Big Mike and the guys heard my plan, they looked at each other in shock. They didn't believe it. They knew how obsessed I used to be with Vanessa. But now that the fog had lifted, losing myself for a woman seemed incredibly stupid. Why hadn't I woken up sooner? We partied late. I even posted photos on my story. By the time I got home, it was 3:00 a.m. The moment I opened the door, I saw Vanessa sitting on the sofa, her face grim. She looked at me coldly. "Caleb, how old are you? Acting out and getting jealous like a teenager? Coming home this late just because you're upset? Is this appropriate?" My eyelids felt like they were glued together. I had zero energy to deal with her, so I tried to walk past her to the bedroom. She stood up and blocked my path. "Enough is enough. Julian and I are in the past. I won't and can't have anything with him now. You don't need to punish me over him. Also, I don't like you coming back this late. Don't let it happen again." I yawned. "You're overthinking it. I'm not jealous, and I'm not acting out. Also, I'm not following your curfew anymore." Her face twisted. "Are you done? Even throwing a tantrum has limits. I'm not your mother. I won't indulge you endlessly." I was too tired to speak. I just wanted to sleep. She mistook my silence for submission, sighed, and reached out to hug me. I took a step back, dodging her embrace, hanging onto my last thread of consciousness. I walked quickly into the bedroom, shut the door, and locked it. Before I drifted off, I vaguely wondered if I should have taken the guest room and left the master to her since we were essentially separated, but a second later, the thought screw it crossed my mind, and I was out. For the first time in forever, I slept until dawn without dreaming. When I got up to wash my face, Vanessa was just coming out of the bedroom. She walked past me with a stone-cold face, acting like I didn't exist. But this time, I didn't panic or grab her hand to beg for forgiveness. I just focused on my own routine. As I headed to the kitchen, I heard the front door slam. Geez, even a sturdy door shouldn't be slammed like that. I made a simple breakfast, ate, and went to the office. I headed straight for my boss's office. I was about to knock when I heard, "Caleb, you're here early." I turned around. It was my boss. I was so early that he hadn't even started his day yet. Once inside, I told him I was willing to accept the expat assignment in Germany. The opportunity had come up before, and he had urged me to take it for my career, but I had refused because I didn't want to be away from Vanessa for so long. He was thrilled I accepted, but asked with concern, "Is everything okay with your girlfriend?" I shook my head. "I'm breaking up with her." Thank God for Julian Cross. He woke me up just in time. Starting today, I had to prepare my handover and handle the visa paperwork. I was busy all day. By the time I left the office, it was late. I decided to grab dinner out before heading home. When I walked in, Vanessa was on the phone, holding a gift box in her right hand and her cell in her left. "MHM, it's rare for His Highness to visit the city, so of course I have to go all out. Don't worry, the prince will be satisfied. You guys order first, I'm heading out now." Oh right, today was Julian's birthday. Her face was full of an indulgent smile, an expression she never showed me. With me, she was always cool, her smiles faint at best. I had complained about it once, and she calmly told me she wasn't used to showing emotion. Now I realized she wasn't used to it. She just didn't want to show it to me. After hanging up, the smile lingered on her face until she saw me. Then it vanished instantly. She walked past me indifferently, carrying flowers, and closed the door behind her without a word. She was still punishing me with this silent treatment for my coldness yesterday. But she didn't realize that, just like this morning, I wasn't panicked by her neglect anymore. I ordered takeout, and after eating, I picked up a German textbook I hadn't touched in ages. I spoke German, but I was rusty and needed to brush up. Taking a break, I scrolled through Instagram and saw Julian's update. "Grateful to the universe for letting me meet you." Beneath it, the comments were flooded with blessings from Vanessa's girl squad. Her best friends all supported her and Julian. They hated me. They never said it outright, but they took every opportunity to make me feel small. I used to complain to Vanessa, but she'd just say, "Then you need to try harder to win their approval." I refreshed the feed. Vanessa had commented with a simple smiley face emoji. Suddenly, I got a tag notification. It was Chloe, one of Vanessa's best friends. "Just telling you in advance so you don't fight with Van again. We're all here. It's a normal group hangout." I found it funny. I replied K, and tossed my phone aside, washed up, and went to bed. In the middle of the night, the sudden glare of the overhead light woke me. I squinted and saw Vanessa staring straight at me. She demanded, "You really trust me that much? I was out all night, and you didn't send a single message." My friends' phones were blowing up with their boyfriends and husbands telling them to come home. I was the only one waiting like an idiot. Woken from a deep sleep, I wasn't happy. "You're a grown woman hanging out with friends. Why wouldn't I trust you?" "I trust you. It's late, go to sleep." In the past, whenever she met Julian, I would make a scene. Even if I reluctantly agreed, I'd blow up her phone. Vanessa used to scream at me. "This is my circle's gathering. What does it have to do with you? I'm begging you, Caleb, give me some personal space." She stood there, stunned. 3 seconds later, as I was lying back down, she grabbed me. "We need to talk." I looked at her helplessly. She took a deep breath. That Instagram post was just a memento for our friend group. It didn't mean anything else. Don't let your imagination run wild. I was exhausted. I nodded repeatedly. "Okay, I got it." A flash of irritation crossed her eyes. "What is this refusal to communicate? Are you still mad I saw Julian? I told you, he's just a friend in our circle. We have a history, sure, but that's in the past. If you really care that much, I'll bring you along next time." I nodded again. "Understood, but I'm really sleepy. Can I sleep now?" Vanessa didn't speak. She sighed and started climbing into bed. I jumped. "What are you doing?" She froze. Then, looking at me coldly, she slammed the door and stormed out, kicking open the door to the guest room. Despite the interruption, I wasn't worried about insomnia. My head hit the pillow, and minutes later I was asleep. I had good relationships with my coworkers, so they insisted on a farewell dinner before I left the country. I accepted, obviously. Halfway through the meal, I went to the restroom and saw Vanessa with her colleagues. And there, clinging to her side, was Julian. Vanessa really took care of Julian, bringing him along even to her company dinners. I realized I didn't feel a shred of jealousy or anger. I just thought if I'd realized this sooner, maybe I wouldn't have been miserable for so long. Julian saw me and greeted me with a smug smile. Caleb, what a coincidence. You're here too. Oh, don't misunderstand. It's just so boring where I am lately. So Van brought me along to her work party. Vanessa's colleagues knew me, and they looked awkward, casting strange glances at Julian. I gave a non-committal grunt and walked back to my team's private room. As soon as I sat down, a text for Vanessa popped up. I don't bring him to every work dinner. Just this once. Obvious much? Julian didn't usually live in this city. I realize it might look inappropriate. I won't bring him next time. Appropriate or not, it wasn't my business anymore. She sent a few more similar texts. The last one asked what time I'd be done so we could go home together. I put my phone back in my pocket without replying. Everyone was chatting and eating, the atmosphere warm. Toward the end, a colleague raised a glass. When Caleb comes back from Germany, are we going to have to call him Director Reed? I laughed and raised my glass. Don't roast me. Who knows? I might be begging for a job from you guys when I get back. Laughter filled the room. When we broke up the party and I walked out, I saw Vanessa standing there, eyes red, staring at me dead on. Julian was tugging at her arm, shooting hateful daggers at me. Vanessa ignored Julian. She looked at me, her voice trembling. You're going abroad? I frowned. She must have heard me talking to my co-workers. But we talked about that half an hour ago. Had she been waiting out here the whole time? My colleagues sensed the awkwardness and asked if I needed help. I thanked them and said I could handle it. They left, telling me to call if I needed anything. Answer me, Caleb, Vanessa said, panic in her eyes. You're leaving the country? I nodded. She was going to find out eventually. Why didn't you tell me beforehand? If I hadn't accidentally heard, when were you planning to tell me? I meant to say something, but I've been busy with the handover, and you seemed really busy too. I didn't think it was necessary to bother you with something small. Vanessa looked hurt. How is this small? And I'm your girlfriend. Big or small, it's normal to tell me. Why would you think it's a bother? Huh? Isn't that what you used to say? Don't tell me every little chicken shit detail. Actually, I wouldn't normally throw old grievances in her face, seeing as I plan to break up anyway. But maybe the alcohol loosened my tongue, or maybe seeing her face just triggered the sarcasm. I used to tell Vanessa everything. Even if I saw a cloud shaped like a weird dog, I'd text her. But all I got was disdain. She told me to dial back the sharing needs, said she wasn't interested, and that getting constant notifications was just annoying. Vanessa opened her mouth, then finally squeezed out. When are you leaving? Not soon, right? I answered casually. Yeah, about 6 months. Elite. I didn't know why she cared, but I didn't want to tell her I was actually leaving in a month. Her expression relaxed. She lowered her voice. We're done here. Let's go home together. I was about to refuse when Julian grabbed his head and leaned heavily against her. Van, I feel so dizzy. I think I'm drunk. Vanessa looked flustered, trying to push him off while explaining to me. This is the first time. We aren't usually this close. It's because he's drunk. Looking at Julian's terrible acting and Vanessa's panic, I didn't believe it for a second. But at this point, truth or lies didn't interest me. Sure, understood. Julian pressed tighter against her, wrapping his arm around her waist. Vanessa pushed him a few times, but couldn't dislodge him. She looked at me helplessly. Caleb, look at him. It's not safe for him to go home alone like this. I'll drop him off first, okay? Hearing this, Julian hugged her tighter. I was glad I didn't have to share a ride with her. Okay. Vanessa wanted to say something else, but I had already turned to leave. Waiting for my Uber, I looked up at the night sky. My heart felt a little sour, but the night breeze quickly blew it away. It turned out giving up on Vanessa wasn't as hard as I imagined. When I got home, I received a text from her. Julian says his head is spinning and he feels sick. I'm worried about him. I'll probably have to stay at his place tonight to watch him. I was surprised. Vanessa was actually texting to explain herself, a historic first. In the past, if I even asked where they were going or when she'd be home, she'd get annoyed. Can you stop acting like my mother? I don't have an obligation to report everything to you. I replied with a 1, slang for acknowledged. She sent another 1. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm sleeping on the couch in the living room. I promise nothing will happen. I didn't reply. I went to bed. I'd had a few drinks, so I slept deeply. I woke up near noon. Given the awkward time, I decided to combine breakfast and lunch. I ordered extra spicy rice noodles, a fried egg, and a drumstick. The noodles were amazing. Just as I was slurping them down, Vanessa came back. She sniffed the air and frowned slightly. I knew she smelled the chili. She hated spicy food and wouldn't let me eat it either. Even if I bought it for myself, she'd throw a fit because she could smell it. Just as I braced for an outburst, she smiled. Takeout isn't healthy. In the future, if you want spicy food, I'll make it for you. Then she sat at the table and started venting. Lying on that couch all night killed my back. And Julian is such high maintenance. One minute he needs to vomit, the next he needs water. I said flatly, "You guys go way back. Taking care of him is expected. Don't complain." Vanessa looked awkward. After a moment, she said, "By the way, Chloe is getting married next Saturday. Let's go together." I looked at her in surprise. Chloe was the friend who hated me the most. She used to think I was the interloper who came between Vanessa and Julian. Whenever there was a birthday, dinner, trip, or wedding involving her inner circle, I was excluded. Vanessa would always show up as a pair with Julian. If this were the old days, I would have agreed happily, promising to be on my best behavior to win over her circle. But now I just felt indifferent. I'm not going. I'd just be watching them roll their eyes at me. Pointless. Vanessa didn't expect the rejection. She looked flustered. "How could that happen? You're my boyfriend. Don't worry. If anyone gives you attitude, I'll handle them." She sounded confident. "But Vanessa, did you forget? Back when Chloe picked on me right in front of you, and I was about to snap, you were the one who held my hand down, warning me with your eyes not to cause a scene." She knew exactly what her friends thought of me. She just hadn't cared. I drank the last of the soup. "I have things to do next Saturday. Go with Julian." Vanessa looked lost. My attitude was completely outside her expectations. She thought for a moment, then tried to compromise. "What do you have to do? How about I drive you? Maybe we can still make the wedding." I was getting annoyed. Visa paperwork. Still a lot to finish. Elite. The paperwork was basically done. It was just an excuse. She pursed her lips. "So, I should go with Julian?" She stared at me, trying to find a trace of jealousy on my face. I just cleaned up the takeout containers and said, "Yeah, go with him." She fell silent. As I carried the trash toward the kitchen, she spoke up. "You're not mad?" I answered casually, "Why would I be mad? Didn't you say you and Julian are in the past? And he's just a friend in your circle now? You both have to attend the wedding anyway. Going together is normal. Caleb, let's talk properly." I cut her off. "You were up all night taking care of someone. While you have the day off, go catch up on sleep. I have some stuff to do. I won't bother you." Then I took my laptop into the study, closed the door, and started watching shows. We existed in that awkward limbo for a few days until Saturday arrived. I got up to make breakfast, but I saw food already set on the dining table. Vanessa smiled. "Eat up. After breakfast, I'll drive you to do your paperwork." I had completely forgotten my lie. I felt a flash of awkwardness, but then thought, whatever, I'll just pick a government building I went to before and have her drop me off. It would save me the hassle of arguing. When we got to her car, she put her hand over the door frame to protect my head as I got in. I felt a wave of déjà vu. A memory surfaced. I was working late one night, and a thunderstorm hit. I asked Vanessa to pick me up. She had just mocked me in a harsh tone. "Are you serious? You're a grown man afraid of the dark. It's just rain. Didn't you bring an umbrella?" When I got home that night, soaking wet from wringing out my shirt, I found out that while I was squeezing onto the subway, Julian had been sitting in Vanessa's car, blasting the AC, drinking bubble tea she bought him. I used to say I liked bubble tea, and she criticized me, saying it was a consumerist trap and that a man shouldn't be so obsessed with sugary drinks. After that, I got my license and bought my own car. Unfortunately, because I was leaving the country, I'd already put it in long-term storage. Otherwise, I could have used driving myself as an excuse today. On the road, she kept trying to find topics to chat about. It was annoying, so I gave vague, half-hearted replies. Thankfully, Julian called. Vanessa looked hesitant. She reached out, then pulled her hand back. I found it irritating to watch, so I pressed answer for her. The moment it connected, Julian's whiny voice filled the car. "Van, I don't know why, but I can't get an Uber today. The fastest one is 40 minutes away. Can you come pick me up?" Vanessa hesitated. "It's fine. I'll talk to Chloe for you. She won't blame you." Wow, Vanessa actually refused Julian? Was she possessed? Julian didn't expect the rejection either. He was silent for 2 seconds before speaking again, layering on the familiar grievance. "But it's Chloe's wedding. How can I be late? I guess I'll just try to flag down a cab or something." I glanced at Vanessa's conflicted face. Sitting in her car while she agonized over him was a new experience. I didn't want to stay in the same space as her anyway. I decided to be considerate one last time. "Just drop me at the L station up ahead," I said pleasantly. Guilt flashed in Vanessa's eyes. "But you—" I smiled. "The train is convenient. I'm a guy. Taking the L is no problem. Go get him. Don't make him wait." After Vanessa left, I wandered around the area, then grabbed lunch at a nearby restaurant. I was leaving a few days. I needed to enjoy the local food while I could. I stayed out late. When I got home, the apartment was empty. Normal. Vanessa was probably still at Chloe's wedding. The next morning, I walked into the living room and found Vanessa sitting on the sofa, motionless. The sound of my footsteps snapped her out of her trance, and our eyes met. I made small talk. Back so early? She didn't answer. She just looked at me with deep sadness. After a long while, she choked out, "You didn't do paperwork yesterday. You were just walking around, weren't you?" I was surprised. How did she know? She hung her head. "Last night, I was scrolling through my phone. I saw a street photographer's post. You were in the background. The timestamp was right after I dropped you at the station. I had nothing to say, and I didn't want to explain. I don't know how much time passed before Vanessa whispered, 'Can we talk, Caleb?' It was time to end this formally. I sat down on the sofa. 'Yeah, let's talk.' Vanessa looked straight into my eyes, deadly serious. 'I won't contact Julian anymore. We'll live happily like we used to.' 'Okay.' I was startled. She smiled bitterly. 'I know. You've always been unhappy about my relationship with Julian. I thought about it. I really didn't respect boundaries before. Making you sad was wrong, and I'm willing to change. I was terrible. I took advantage of the fact that you loved me, thinking you'd never leave, so I ignored your feelings. I was an asshole, but I know I was wrong. Give me one more chance. We can be like before. Please.' So, she knew exactly what she was doing. She was capable of cutting Julian off. She just hadn't wanted to. I smiled. 'No need. I honestly don't care anymore.' She got agitated. 'You don't believe me? I'll prove it to you right now.' She dialed Julian right in front of me and put on speaker. The moment it connected, Julian's smarmy voice came through. 'Only been one night, and you miss me already, Van?' Usually, this would make Vanessa smile indulgently. Now, she frowned deeply. 'Julian, I'm calling to tell you clearly. I have a boyfriend. We need to keep our distance. Don't contact me unless it's an emergency. Actually, don't contact me at all. Fun. Are you joking?' Julian's voice trembled, loaded with heavy victimization. 'What's wrong? We had such a good time last night, and now you call me first thing in the morning saying this. Suddenly, his tone shifted, feigning confidence. 'Oh, I get it. It's that insecure, controlling boyfriend of yours, Caleb, making a scene again, right? I knew it. LOL. Vanessa cut him off. 'I'm not joking, and Caleb didn't ask me to do this. I just feel. Honestly, we lack boundaries. It can't happen anymore. Also, Caleb is my boyfriend. I hope you'll respect him in the future. Goodbye.' She hung up. Her phone immediately started vibrating like crazy. She turned it off completely, then looked at me pleadingly. 'Caleb, see? We can.' I looked at her blankly and sighed. 'I'm going abroad, Van. We can still make it work.' 'No.' She looked at me, begging. 'Don't say it. You going abroad?' She looked like she was making a massive decision. 'I'll go with you.' I couldn't deny that statement sent a shockwave through me. I knew how well her career was going here. Her entire network was here, and she was willing to abandon it for me? Seeing I didn't answer, Vanessa hugged me tight, sobbing in my ear. 'Caleb, I really know I messed up. Forgive me, please.' Memories of our time together flashed through my mind. My heart ached again, but my mind was clearer than ever. 'Vanessa, let's break up.' I moved out that day and checked into a hotel. Vanessa didn't stop me physically, but she told me to wait for her. She said she had one project to finish, then she'd quit and come with me. The project would take 4 or 5 months, perfectly timing with the 6 months lie I told her. I didn't say yes or no. From that day on, the friends who used to look down on me took turns acting as lobbyists. They apologized profusely for their past attitudes, telling me Vanessa was working herself to death to finish the project early so she could join me. They begged me to forgive her, to tell her to rest. I didn't reply. I blocked them all. Another Saturday arrived. I dragged my suitcase to O'Hare. My phone was filled with updates from Vanessa, morning, noon, and night, plus random little things she shared. I scrolled up our text history. It used to be a wall of green bubbles, me talking to myself. Now it was a wall of white, her talking to herself. It was a strange feeling. Suddenly, a new message popped up. 'You're leaving today. Didn't you say a few months? Please don't leave me behind.' I took one last look at our chat, tapped a few buttons, and blocked her. 'Caleb!' A desperate scream came from behind me. I turned. Vanessa was running toward me, hair messy, clothes wrinkled, face pale and exhausted. I'd never seen her look so unkempt. She sprinted up to me, gasping for air, and burst into tears. 'Caleb, I beg you, please don't leave me. I really know I was wrong. I cut off Julian. I'll never speak to him again. I don't care if he dies. I won't help him.' My vision blurred slightly. Maybe it was just mourning the death of the relationship. I looked at Vanessa, begging without a shred of dignity, and spoke softly. 'It's over, Vanessa.' I turned around, leaving her sobbing in her hands, and walked through the security gate. World apart, never to cross paths again.